It's just like, okay, like, especially with, let's look at squat, because this is very fundamental movement.
But what if you have good form?
Well, if good form, does your knee hurt? Does your knees hurt? Does your lower back hurt?
I have good form, but my knees hurt. I think that's an oxymoron, isn't it?
Yeah, it has to be an oxymoron. So it's just like, what is one of the fundamental movements that I always teach people to not squat to parallel or below parallel. Squat where it doesn't hurt.
Right.
You know, squat so it's not painful. Not everyone can get to parallel. You know, not everyone can do it. Not everyone can do it. Sometimes they have to work extra hard just to get to that position. Or you have to put some incentive, like a box underneath, for them to be able to have the confidence to do that movement. And how do you teach someone that over the internet? I just don't understand that. Like, how do you do that? How do you teach someone to both press with the legs and press with the back at the same simultaneously? Like, it's
you need to push your knees out. You need to make sure your feet are, you know, on the ground.
On the ground. How do you know? Like, how can you tell when they're shifting in their squat, where the weight transfers over to the front of to their toes? How can you tell that?
And I guess that's what it comes down to. People buy training for so many different reasons. And, you know, and I think that a lot of the time is when I train people, it's really just to keep them training consistently, make progress and strength, or maintain health and fitness without getting hurt. Because it's so easy, like you and me, we keep getting hurt because we're stupid.
We don't have coaches. We coach each other. Yeah, let's go on this pec tech and stretch out our pec minor.
It's like, oh.
Hey, dude, I can't. My arms don't work really well anymore.
My fingers.
My fingers got numb.
But I mean, because like, you know, like squatting the parallel, for example, we are strong enough to squat the parallel.
Yeah.
We're strong enough to squat the parallel with 300 pounds.
Yeah.
However, there's consequences.
There's some extremely consequences.
So, and we kind of, and sort of like, you're younger than me, 5 years younger than me. But it's like, as you get older, you sort of like, oh, you know, so when you're like that borderline sort of like I'm moving towards, I'm 33, but you know, I'm getting older. Yeah. It's almost like to a point where I'm strong, but my mileage is starting to show.
Yeah, it's starting to show.
But when you're like 22, 25, and maybe you can't quite squat the parallel, but if you put weight on your back, you'll squat the parallel. There's a pretty good chance there's a reason why you can't squat the parallel without weight on your back. It's because you're not supposed to. Your knees are not really designed, or your current skill level mobility isn't designed to tolerate that.
Skill level and mobility. Yeah.
So definitely. if you can squat the parallel. If you can't squat the below parallel without some ridiculous like good morning movement without weight, or with just a bar, and then you have to use a weight like 250, 300 pounds to get yourself to go straight down, you got some serious problems. Yeah. Because you can muscle it out and you can get stronger, you'll build muscle, but what's going to end up happening is your knees are making, your ankles, your knees, and your hips and your back are sort of making little mini adjustments, basically form breakdown. Yeah. And you know what's so funny? It's like form breakdown is it's small for some people.
It is. It really is. And then like, it goes back to like good form, bad form. You know, it goes with that thing. It's like
as long as you have good form,
as long as you can do the movement without like causing pain in the movement and causing pain a day or day two after. If you can do that without doing that, I think then you can classify as a good form. It's automatically classified as good form, and it's just so broad.
It's so broad.
Someone told me I was arguing with some member at the gym about bicep curls. Like, you shouldn't swing. I was like, why not? And he was like, well, it's you know, it's not going to make your biceps as big. I got big biceps. I swing all the time.
You know what's so funny, actually? Lane Norton had this thing, and I listened to it. It was about momentum and weights. Because if your form is too strict and your shoulder blades are really tight and you're just like super controlled, you'll get activation. But see, if you have a little momentum, you're able to tolerate more weight, right? Even though your form is not perfect. Well, I don't know what the hell we were going to call form. No,
not good form, bro.
We're talking about form like a religion now.
Yeah.
Form has to be this way, right? But anyways, my point is like, because you think about it, because if you say weight that you can't quite control your shoulder blades with, but then you swing up just a little bit, not a ton, you get a little bit more stimulation eccentrically, right? Like versus something you can only control with a tight shoulder blade, and you go up, right? So I mean, there's like Makes those sense. Little things, or even like back workouts, for example. That's why when you have bad form on back, you can actually get more hypertrophy. Not necessarily the best long-term strategy, but I mean something that you can do occasionally.
Are you talking about my deadlifts again, bro? No, but you know, it makes more sense. And when you said that, you brought up an idea in my mind. And ultimately, if you do swing a little bit, let's say you cheat rep, you know, whatever, which everyone cheats reps. If you watch everyone cheat rep. Everyone cheat rep everything. I saw you cheat rep on the bench the other day.
What cheat? Oh, cheat reps. It's when you let the bar sink on a pause, and then you just like use your legs.
Use your legs, dude. My butt cheek literally tweaked out when I tried to do that. It was just like, no, I didn't like it.
Because you
No,
did squats before.
but volume. It's volume. Like if you can get a little bit more volume in, then volume equals hypertrophy. Volume equals hypertrophy. So in the long term, yeah, you're not having a good form, but you have more volume in. More volume means more hypertrophy. Hypertrophy means more muscle gains.
Right.
So
And more
swing the hell. I guess swing like crazy, guys.
More brokenness.
More brokenness.
Break yourself.
Break.
Oh, what Curtis says. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yep. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
You know, we could summarize training into just a bunch of motivational quotes. That's what we should do. Like, we're just like, we could just say, eat clean, have good form.
You know the quote I used the other day?
What?
New client. I was like, even the longest journey starts with the first step. I was like, no.
You said it with a straight face?
I said it with a straight face.
Oh, my God, you're kidding me.
Yeah, it was pretty good. He's like, it does. I hope he doesn't watch this episode, but it's the truth. Even the longest journey.
That's what me and Curtis do all the time. We make up motivational quotes and we just use them.
Just use them.
Because he does coaching too. So you're like, you train people. So you're just like, okay, we're like, we're joking. We're just, because life is not simple. Movement, it's not simple. People want to just, you just do this movement. I mean, technically, like this kid I'm training, right? He's 15. Yeah. I can probably teach him a deadlift, bench, and squat. It's gonna be terrible though.
Yeah, you're talking about him that he just couldn't get him to get in the right position.
I couldn't. It was hard. I mean, I could. I could force him. He'll get stronger. But like, the real thing is like, at what cost? I mean, what's he gonna do by himself? Mm-hmm. So you got to make these judgment calls on people. Like, okay, fine, we can't squat. We can't squat because you're not dedicated to take the time, or this person is not going to take the time to do what's necessary to squat well. So you just can't have them squat. I mean, or barbell squat specifically. They still squat.
Just not a
barbell squat, because barbell squat's a pretty demanding movement.
Oh, dude, I was working with a client, Brian. Today was the first day he squatted. He box squatted, and I didn't let him squat on a box until I felt he was comfortable just doing regular goblet squat. I didn't want any issues and everything, and then until he got general leg strength, he knew how to activate a lot of hip circle work. If you
really think about it, like I think online coaching pre-qualifies who's going to be there already. So if you think about it, people who go and get online coaching already pre-qualified.
Oh, they should be.
I meant talking about like when you're looking for online coaching, you're already
I get what you're saying.
You're already that person.
You understand.
Yeah,
movement.
You sort of understand what you're getting.
So you would when you say that, I had a thought pop in my mind. So are you a bad online coach if you would take on a client that obviously does not fill the prerequisite? So there should be a standard where all online coaches have to have a prerequisite, meaning that all the clients have to be aware or have some sort of knowledge in the movement in an aspect of good form.
Yeah, and that's what the big challenge is. I mean, that's because
because
me, like when my depth of knowledge with human movement is sort of like everyone moves bad into a certain degree. It's just a matter of like when it breaks down and how far past should you move past that kind of minor breakdown and like loss in spinal tightness, or core tightness, loss in knee valgus or ankle collapsing. Like I was watching what's his name, Justin. He was walking on the what's that thing called? Jacob's ladder.
Jacob's ladder.
Yeah, and he's walking like a duck on that thing. It's like, oh, that's why you have plantar fasciitis.
Dude, he's just like
his ankles are stiff. Oh, there's something wrong with the way he's using his feet, because he has good ankle flexibility. Like he can squat, he can go pretty low, but he's got, I don't know what. It's hard to say. Like I can't just say, oh, this is the reason why you're having problems. It's one of the reasons why you're having problems. It's more than that's why. So as I learn, like when you talk to me, we talk about stuff. The reason why I help you think so much, and as far as like see the whole world, is because things are just so much more complicated than they really are.
Yeah, like the prime example literally yesterday, Lala, one of her clients, was like squatting, and she's like, "No, what does she have a butt wake?" Well, it could be her hamstrings. Well, then it could be this also. It could be this. It could be her. You know what? It could be all of it. I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. Yeah, and then she was like, "Well, what should I do?" Well, if her back hurts, maybe you shouldn't have her stop squatting, I guess, because it leads to back problems, especially the lower back, because it's constantly flexing.
I mean, and that's what the tough part is with these with people is like, I mean, you got to know. I mean, of course, everyone knows their limits. People say, "Oh, I know my limits," but then as a coach, I mean, and especially if you train someone for a long time, you can really hurt somebody.
Oh yeah.
But that's the thing; you don't know if you're hurting them, because you're at the limits of your knowledge. You know what I mean? Some things are just like dude, right now with CrossFit and stuff being the thing and stuff like CrossFit. So like you want to teach everyone Olympic lifting and teach people box jumps. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, just some people.
That is one of the most dangerous. I watched that Kelly K-Star video about box jumps. It was 20 minutes long.
On how to do a box
jump.
On
how to do a box jump. And I'm not saying it could have been longer. It could have been longer because it's that demanding of a movement. And we let people do it all the time. We let them do it.
And that's why people fall apart, you know, because then they're pushing themselves to demands, typically end range. You know, what end range just means ass to grass squats or overhead movement. Like I get comments on this too. I had this whole video series. I've been doing videos on upward rotation of the scapula, and people say, I watched this video about a guy who says overhead movement is bad for everybody. You should never do it. I'm like, I mean, in the context of most people, yes, it actually is. You're right, but you should still be able to put your hands above your head without pain.
Yeah.
You know, and you should be able to pick something up and put it above your head without, you know, like groaning. You know how when you get up out of a chair and you groan, like the old man getting out of a chair? Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing. It's just that your body's not capable of those movements. So should you ignore training that range of motion? I don't know. I don't think, I mean, it depends on where you're at.
Or just get hand railings everywhere you go.
You know, it's because it's a big challenge, right? Okay, so my knee hurts. I can't do squats. Okay, so let's never do squats ever again.
That doesn't sound like a good.
You know what I mean? Or my shoulders, I should never do. You probably, if you have shoulder problems, you should probably not do a whole lot of overhead pressing.
Yeah, you should probably until you figure out what the exact problem is and whether it could be fixed or not.
Yeah,
it could just you know the way you were built. Jesus' fault.
I think the other thing too is like, or with bench press or any kind of movement, it's just like you gotta like. I mean, you gotta know your limits, but then there's always a way to learn how to get around something if you really care about fixing it. You know, like on my channel, like I'm like at this video, I'm like trying to fix my overhead squat. You're trying to do an overhead squat, you know, and we're just like, you know, I know what to do, I know what needs to happen, but the amount of work it takes is ridiculous. Just like people know how to build muscle, they're just not willing to take the time to do all the stuff they need to do to build muscle.
Yeah.
You know, like they got to eat more, they got to lift weights regularly.
And
you got to sleep well. I mean, you got to be freaking on it, dude.
You got to be on it hard, especially the older you are.
And as much as I want to do that, and as much as I'd like to get more jacked, we look like Nas here with gigantic arms, it's just not.
Take steroids, bro. That's what I did. Shortcut of life.
It's just not fun. It's not fun for me.
You don't like sticking things up your butt?
We'll edit this part out.
Steroid. Okay, no, you should black it out. It just say steroid talk.
Steroid talk.